we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
Well, all right, welcome to episode 82 of the Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and an unchecked threat to society. So, what's going on out there? Heard anything new? Heard any good jokes lately? So, yeah, man, as always, the shit gets weirder and weirder, curiouser and curiouser, if you like. So we'll get straight to it. I guess I want to throw 2 cents in, and beyond just the straightforward facts of last night's assassination attempt. I want to give some kind of, how can you say, some good sense, some look the fuck out, if you like, surrounding this thing, because some of the takes I've seen, some of the takes I've heard, especially from the libtard side of the room, good God in heaven. I mean, I know there are simple people out there. The world needs ditch diggers, but I've never heard anything quite as stupid as some of the shit that I've heard coming out in the last 12 hours. So I want to give some takes on that, and then I want to go over probably one of the best takes that I've heard, which, surprise, surprise, Alex fucking Jones. Well, hot take is a very hot take. I want to go over it when I have a little talk on the Alex Jones take. We could also talk through some of the Secret Service failings, and I don't know. It's up for debate at this point whether it's actual malice / conspiracy or just a simple case of incompetence. And then I want to wrap up with 2 cents on the French Foreign Legion. Somebody had asked about that. Hey, Coffee, what do you think about joining the French Foreign Legion? I try not to think about it as often as I can, but yeah, I'll tell you what I know about that. So straight away, it appears that Saturday afternoon sometime, Donald Trump was giving a speech in Butler, Pennsylvania, at a rally situation in what appears to be an agricultural type facility, some kind of a facility like this, kind of a wide open space, and some dude, some Reddit looking mutant, got up on top of a structure that was less than 150 yards from the speaking platform and got off. I mean, it had to be 7-8 shots. Got off what sounds like 2 or 3 aimed shots, and then a handful of just rapid fire, just getting rounds out there type shots. I mean, you can't make this shit up, man. Donald Trump appears to have been injured on his right ear, and I've seen speculation that it was a bullet that zipped right past his head and caught him in the ear. And then all of the leftist outlets, after they got done saying that President Trump's speech interrupted by Secret Service, banging noises interrupt speech, causes him to leave. President Trump falls down mid-sentence, this kind of shit. After they got done with that, they're talking about, oh yeah, the bullet hit the teleprompter and that's what broke, and a piece of it caught his ear. Again, you can't put a price on this shit, but in all, he gets injured in his ear, about as close as you can get, and one bystander, one rally attendee was killed. It sounded like, from one of the interviews I saw with somebody who was on the scene, it was I think it was an ER doctor that happened to be attending, had his big USA shirt and his red hat on, and said that somebody took one in the head. Like, wherever one of those rounds went, caught somebody in the head, and not a good deal. And then the gunman who has been identified now as a Thomas Crooks of nearby Pennsylvania town, got got his melon opened up by the Secret Service counter sniper team. So in all, man, immediately, I mean, I saw takes, I heard takes. Man, I'm in proximity to some brain dead leftoids, and I legit heard takes that like, well, this was staged. Like, what if he just had like a ketchup packet, you know, and somebody, he just like hits his ear, you know? And I'm like, well, do you really think that, like, one, the Secret Service is going to let that shit slide, and then what, they're gonna injure a few attendees, and we're gonna get a guy up on the roof and just shoot him in the head, and then that's gonna make this whole thing fly? Yeah, bro, yeah, like, he would do it, man. I bet he would do it. Like, use your fucking head just a little bit, because I mean, the guy's already winning. I mean, all the talk in the news, you know, right now was Joe Biden, demented or not, you know, Parkinson's or not. I mean, all you got to do is stand back, and just like he did with that debate, just stand back and let this guy implode. Now, again, mind you, I am not your Trump guy. I am not a Trump fan. I think this guy got into office the first time by promising people like us to do a whole lot of shit that we would like, that he knew we would like, and then got in and was immediately on the phone to Tel Aviv. Hey, what do you need? On the phone to Jonathan Greenblatt. Hey, what do you need? Turning all manner of Israeli criminals loose on his last day in office, when he could have cut loose all of these January 6 people who got out there and did exactly what he said. All right, I'm not a fan of the guy, but this situation is fucked up, and I'll come to why that is here in due course. But the situation as it played out then was, there was an interview with one guy who was in attendance, but way in the back, I guess, of the body of the attendees, by this structure that the shooter climbed on top of. And if you haven't seen like an overhead map or this kind of thing, the way this thing appears to be is like, maybe it's like some kind of, you know, agricultural processing facility or something. It's like a fairly wide open grass area. And then there's a few buildings, and this was where they had the like speaking platform and this kind of thing. So Trump is up here at this speaking platform. Behind him, like to his right and so on, is a couple of structures, and I guess on top of one of these structures is where the Secret Service had their counter sniper team. So across then, directly across, like in the back of the venue, if you will, at about 150 yards, I think one estimate I saw was between like 130 and 148 yards to this other structure. So a guy that's standing back there was videos a guy scooching up, moving into place, and you hear people yelling, there's a guy up there, he's got a gun. In an interview, this guy, this big red-haired dude, is talking about, like, yeah, we were yelling for like 4 minutes that there's a guy getting up there, there's a guy moving around up there, yelling to the cops, yelling to the Secret Service, and shit was moving in slow motion. Now, I don't know, like, I didn't see a 4-minute video. I don't know that this guy was paying attention to exactly how long this shit went on, because I do know that when you get wound up, you get spun up, things do slow down, and 1 minute will feel like 4 minutes. So how did this happen? I don't know, dude. Was it actually 4 minutes? It could have been 1 minute, could have been 2 minutes. I don't fucking know. What I do know is that I heard people yelling gun. I heard people saying there's a guy with a gun. He's got a gun. Gun. You hear that shit, all right? That shit should get passed fucking yesterday. So if there's any cop, any Secret Service within yelling distance and they hear the word gun, he's got a gun, that shit should go out fucking immediately. Gun. And your principal, the person you're protecting, should be fucking poof out of there. Fucking presto changeo into the fucking wind. All right, that shit didn't happen. They left that fucking guy up there. So that's one fuck up. All right, one that they didn't get on top of this thing. As soon as somebody says gun, somebody needs to be saying, you know, if you're back there, if you're covering the rear of this thing, somebody needs to be saying where. And then as soon as it's anything viable, there's a guy up there, somebody says he has a gun, that needs to go out over comms, and your principal needs to disappear. That didn't happen. So that's a major fuck up. Because the guy can go back, right? If they figure out it's a guy up there just trying to get a cool picture, or a guy up there so he could see better, or a guy that just wants to sit somewhere else. What the fuck ever then, you get it straightened out, and now your principal can go back there and finish whatever they were doing. But what you can't do is get the guy's brains back in his head if he gets fucking opened up, which is about an inch and a half from what was gonna happen. So that took forever. The shots go, you could see, I saw one of the videos where the shots go and some blonde girl like directly behind Trump just drops. And I don't know who got hit. I thought I heard in one of the interviews that it was some dude, but this girl looked like she went down like she got fucking smoked. Like just somebody clipped her string and like zip, and down she goes. And that was right when he grabbed his ear and was like, oh shit. And then you hear some more pop, pop, pop. And then a few of the Secret Service people run up and start covering the guy up. I guess the counter sniper team engaged the guy that was on that structure and pretty much opened him up straight away. The counter sniper guy, the video I saw, like that dude didn't look too fucking steady. I mean, I'm sure it's probably hot up there. This kind of shit, I don't know. But the guy had his weapon on what appeared to be a tripod. And I think he got his shot off, but the guy it was like wobbly, like, what the fuck's going on up there, man? Are you slipping and sliding? Is your shit not stable? I don't know what the fuck's happening up there. I mean, it looked like goddamn Mickey Mouse show up there. So I don't know exactly what was happening, if that was the guy that took the shot or exactly what. But they did get the guy finished off, and his dead ass was up there on that rooftop. And then they identified him as this guy. And apparently this guy, this Thomas Crooks, was from a nearby Pennsylvania town, had registered as a Republican. And so that's what a lot of the leftoid sites are hitting on, is that, oh, he was a Republican, bro. He's a Republican. He's a gun nut. And it's like, somebody else drew attention to like, well, no, this is what a lot of these people do. They'll register as Republicans and then they'll go vote in primaries and this kind of shit. So this guy was, I guess, 20 years old. He had registered like as soon as he turned 18, registered as a Republican, and again, presumably then, so he could vote in primaries and, throw off, whatever fucking balance he was trying to throw off. And the speculation for that is there because this guy had made a donation to some Democrat organizations. I can't remember what it is, like Always Blue or Back the Blue or I'm Gay and Blue. I don't fucking know. Some kind of blue something. But it made these donations. So he registers Republican but donates to Democratic organizations. So, I mean, this shit kind of speaks for itself. This ain't fucking rocket surgery. Anyway, though, the kind of the big hiccup here, man, like this to me, like, reeks of, I don't want to say conspiracy. I mean, it's something, though. Some shit is not right. Some shit does not sit right. And here's what I mean. I never did any real world shit firsthand with Secret Service. I worked with a lot of guys who did, and the way they talked about it, especially EOD guys, they would talk about how there's going to be an organized event, some kind of an event. Like there's going to be people out there days before, scouting the place out, bomb sniffing dogs, going over the whole fucking place with a fine-tooth comb. They're going to be setting up like, where do we need to put counter snipers? Where do we need to have security people? Where do we need to have people just looking for people who are going to fuck around? So the fact that a tall structure like this, inside of 150 yards, all right, that ain't too fucking far, man. If you were just shooting iron sights, I'll tell you, when I was shooting regularly, a headshot from 150 yards, like, this is very doable. This is very fucking doable. Easy to miss, yeah, if you were going to be smarter, maybe, go center mass. But iron sights, 150 yards, you could do this, all right? Just relax and mean it, and you'll be able to do this. I don't know. I don't have any idea what kind of a weapon this guy was on. It sounds like he was on a semi-auto because, I mean, the way he got rounds off right after, and it looks like he only went up there with one rifle. So it appears that he was up there with a semi-auto. I don't know if he had any kind of optics on this thing or what. No idea yet. I don't know if that'll ever come out. But at 150 yards, this guy went for the headshot, and in the strictest technical sense, I mean, on the line counts, right? So, I mean, you caught the guy in the ear. That is a good shot. It's not an effective shot, but I mean, yeah, congratulations. You scored a headshot on a former president and a current presidential candidate. You got dead for your efforts, ineffective shooting, but at least you got dead. So, tough titty, as they say. But the fact that this guy was, one, that the guy was able to get into that position without being spotted. That's all fucked up. That's 100 shades of fucked up. Two, that the guy was able to approach. The guy should not have been able to approach and get on top of that building. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if there's like an internal way up to the top of that building. That would make it easier. Like if this guy was planning to do this, like let's suppose that this guy was going to plan to do this and, maybe he could have, conceptually, I'm like, spitballing here. The guy could have hidden that weapon inside that building. If there's an internal route to the roof, if you could hide that thing somewhere inside the building, a building, any normal building, there's probably a spot in there someplace, all right, that you could stash something like this. Even if you had to break this thing in two, like an upper and a lower, hide these things in two smaller places, you could probably do that. The idea, though, that if this guy was off in the woods, parked someplace, walked in with a rifle, if there was a ladder on the outside of the building or like some kind of a service access type thing to the roof from the outside of the building, the fact that that dude had access to something like that, to be able to get into that position, that's all fucked up. So that would have been something that, as Secret Service, you would need to note that, like, look, a building like this, if a guy can get to the roof from the inside, we won't be able to see it. We won't be able to see him until he's already in position. So what does that mean? That's simple, dude. Drones. Just fucking drones. Or lock that fucking building. All right? So nobody's in there. It's fucking locked. Even if you roll up here and you want to get to the roof, you're not going to be able to. This shit ain't rocket surgery. All right? So the fact that this guy was able to even get into that position and take a shot, that's all fucked up. Second, the way that everything went down after the shots went and after the emergency action plan kicked in, this was 1,000 shades of an absolute fuck story. So I'll tell you this: after the Iraq thing kicked off, all right, and it became apparent, because like, dude, before way back when, before the Forever Wars started, everything that we trained on in the special ops scene was like, well, what are we gonna do? And nobody knows, man. It could be, it could be shit on the water, it could be shit in a building, it could be out of a car, it could be in the woods, in the city, who the fuck knows? So you just kind of practiced everything. You didn't practice it very good. Even if it was in this situation, you don't know exactly what it's going to look like. So you're just kind of like, you're really spitballing. It's really like, be ready for anything. Now, when shit kicked off, one of the things that we found ourselves training on and out there doing real world was close protection type shit. So like, you're going to guard this fucking mayor that we installed, or you're going to guard this sheikh. You're going to guard this asshole. So the gag about guys pissing in Gatorade bottles and just living out of cars, like, nobody likes that shit. Nobody signed up to do that shit, but that's what you ended up doing. It was like, congratulations, your new life is out of a fucking car. And I hope you don't mind pissing in Gatorade bottles. Like that shit is fucking miserable. But that's what it turned into. So part of learning to do this bodyguard type shit is plain and simple that, like, you got to have a plan, dude. So wherever it is, if your principal, the person you're protecting, if shit goes sideways, an attack goes down, all right, there needs to be a plan that you put in place for, like, here's what we're going to do. So I'll tell you, like, when you train on this shit, and I actually had a chance to talk to, I corresponded back and forth with some of the guys that were acting as security for Richard Spencer, like, way back in the day, before it came out that he was such a cuck and such a closet case. Like, I had talked with a few of the guys because I saw their first thing where, like, they tried to be his security team or whatever, and it went completely fucking pear-shaped, and they ended up, there's like video of guys just running down the street Han Solo because nobody knew where the car was, or they were getting shit thrown at them, and I was like, this is fucking bullshit. So I reached out to one of the guys that I had interacted with on, I want to say Instagram, I don't remember now. But I said, hey man, I am up on this shit. Like, let me hand you some basics, dude. So I gave the guy like some very basic, like, here's, some basics that'll kind of preempt any issues like what you had already. And here's some spots where, here's the sticky spots, and here's where you need to really be ready, and this kind of shit. So like the really antsy part of that gig is any of these transition areas from, like, say you're getting out of the car and walking into a speaking venue. All right. This is a really dicey spot, because if somebody makes an attack, if somebody makes a move right there, where do you go? Do you go back into the car, or do you go into the venue? Like, maybe someone is actively, maybe somebody's upstairs at this venue shooting down towards the car. That's a really shitty spot. You don't want to run back into the fire, but you also don't want to run into the structure where this person might be shooting at you. You got to think this shit through. So you'll have what's called advance. So somebody's going to be in there ahead of time looking at all this shit, all right, like what might go on. So as we get out of the car, at what point do we need to know for sure? And you don't want to be in a situation like that. So again, this day before, these hours before, this is when you're doing these walkthroughs, like starting at the top, walking all the way down. Not just looking at, like, where are the open windows? Where are the avenues for taking a shot from? Look at these fucking people. If there's some guy looking sideways at you, you got to consider, like, there's, this has to be a person willing to lay down their life in order to get a shot at this person. Look these fuckers in the eye. And if some shit seems wonky, maybe just don't do the fucking thing, right? You can always reschedule. What you can't do is get your brains back in your head. So, you got to think this shit through. So one of the sticky spots, and like I was saying, is these transition spots from, like, you're here, all right, now what do you do if you're halfway between the car and the speaking venue? Or if you're out here like this thing, you're at a speaking venue, all right, some shit goes on. Where do you go? Do you go left? Do you go right? Do you go straight back? Where do you fucking go? This is shit you don't think of at the time. You got to have a plan. So it's just like a play in, say, football. We're going to the left. We're going to the right. If I call number one, if I call number two, if I call left, I call right, whatever it is, everybody knows what they're supposed to fucking do. That shit didn't happen with this. If you look at the video of this thing, like, look, you signed up to be fucking Secret Service. They don't just protect presidents. They protect dignitaries. They protect all manner of fucking people that are allotted Secret Service protection. So you rogered up to be the fucking bullet sponge. If you're in there, in the diamond, as they say, like the person immediately around that principal, you're around that person, you are the fucking bullet sponge, man. You are the fucking last line of defense, and you're making the deal that if somebody's going to shoot, it's going to be better that they shoot me than shoot the principal. Because the last fucking thing you want is a dead principal, and there's your ass walking around alive. That's fucking embarrassing as shit. Just like those cops in Texas. There's dead kids, and here's you walking around alive. There's no fucking excuse for that, all right? So these jokers, like, if you're inside there, if you're inside the diamond, you're that last line of protection, you made this fucking agreement, man. You made this deal. If the shit starts going sideways, you get your fucking ass up there, you put your ass between those bullets and that principal. So now this shit goes down, pop, 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 pop. And now what happens? They go running up there. A bunch of people go running up there. But now as he's getting up and he's raising a fist and resisting, that's terrific. Great photo op, man. Terrific photo op. Amazing photo op. The best. Never seen a photo op like it. But he's up there, and now when you hear the audio, you hear this. He's talking about, hey, let me get my shoe. Man, fuck that. All right? Because here's the deal is you're always going off of the rule of one more. Call us the rule of one more. So an attack goes down. Okay, that shooter's neutralized. Man, fuck that. An attack is underway. You have to assume there's one more. They went in there, this guy went in there knowing that probably he's going to get smoked for his efforts, right? You're not walking out of this fucking thing. If he's got any kind of an organization behind him, if there's anybody else assisting him or anybody else involved with this, you've got to assume that that person is willing to lay down their life as well. And so you have to figure that there is one more. There's one more out there somewhere. The fight is not fucking over. So now when you look at the video of these Secret Service fucks, especially these two women. Now, look, man, I've been magnanimous enough with like the women in our thing and, not all women and this kind of shit. I've said this shit enough. You know how I stand on our girls, all right? It's not what I'm talking about, but I'll tell you this. This is not a gig in which women belong. Women do not belong out there conducting fucking combat, conducting close quarter protection. This is fucking bullshit. If you think about it this way too, to say that you're a woman and you're going to walk out there and you're going to be equal to a man, what this is to say is that within 1 or 2 generations, you're able to equalize yourself to thousands and thousands and thousands of years of natural selection that has made men willing to get out there and fight to the death for their own interests, right? To protect their families, to feed their families, to protect themselves, to stay alive, to fight for their tribe. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years of this shit. But you're going to assume that, oh no, I have girl power. I just persist and I win and I succeed. Fucking bullshit, man. Because you look at this thing and he's got 2 women up there in his diamond. This is fucking madness, dude. He has at least 2 women up there close next to him doing their like fucking huddle thing. But they're all hunkered down. They're all scrunched down. So if there is one more, and you have to assume there is, well, there's your headshot. I mean, he can't go nowhere. Go ahead, fucking open up, man, because these fucking broads aren't helping. Stand the fuck tall. Spread the fuck out. But they're not doing that. They're fucking hunkered down. Oh, get his shoe. And they're bending down. They're fucking around looking for his shoe. No, man, you get that guy. The call needs to come out. And this is all fucking, dude, I ain't saying anything controversial here. You're going to hear this shit in the next few days. Like, people are going to start going batshit. You're going to hear from fucking operators, former Secret Service people. I have no doubt that this shit, like, people are going to be fucking heated. This is fucked up. So the call needs to come out, exit left, exit right, and that motherfucker needs to be moving. You got to assume there's another guy out there that probably, maybe he has his shit together, because that first guy, I mean, and again, that wasn't a bad shot. You made the headshot, technically, in the strictest technical sense. You made the shot. It just wasn't effective. So you got to assume there's another guy out there that's got his shit together and he's fucking just waiting for that split second to let one fly. So you need to be fucking moving. Exit left, exit right. Get the fuck out of here. Car needs to be on standby. They finally get the guy moved, and it's a goddamn Chinese fire drill trying to get this guy in the car. Some broad is fumble fucking with her fucking holster like, bitch, it's not a race to get your gun back in the fucking holster. Pay the fuck attention. Get your fucking eyes up. All right, it's like watching a dog fuck a sailboat out here. What the fuck am I looking at? All right, so they finally get this guy fucking loaded up. They get him down the fucking road, and and then all the bullshit starts with like, CNN says, oh, popping noises make Trump flinch, and shit gets weird, So what the fuck ever. But I'll tell you what I did see that was incredibly bad taste. There's a lot of fucking leftoids out there talking shit like fuck you, that's what you get, about the rally attendee that took one in the head and died. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, talk about showing your true colors, man. What kind of fucking crazy shit is this, dude? Because, I mean, these are the people that will come to you insisting like, oh, you need to be accepting, bro. You need to be tolerant, bro. We welcome everyone. That's the difference between us. In our house, we accept people from all over, bro. Okay, but like, so these people that don't vote like you vote, those people, like, they deserve to be shot in the fucking head? Man, fuck you, dude. I mean, long and short, this asshole really just won this thing for Trump. I mean, it was going to probably go that way anyway. But I'll tell you what, if there is some kind of fix that comes in where Biden comes out of this thing with like, amazing, the most votes ever, the people have spoken, dude, this country's fucking cooked, man. I mean, it's going to go sideways in a big fucking hurry. Which kind of brings me to the Alex Jones take that I heard last night. And I wish I had saved it. I wish I had put it somewhere. But sadly, I did not. But Alex Jones came out, man, and he's putting out this take. And I ain't going to do the Alex Jones voice, man, because it takes a lot out of me. It makes me really fucking tired. It makes me want to sit on a couch with a whole thing of Jameson, right, like Alex Jones style. I don't know what it is. The pounds just aren't coming off. But he came out with this video, and he's talking about like, look, I've been saying this for months. I told you this was going to happen. This is the deep state. They're trying to take this guy out, and you can bet that what he predicted, what he says he predicted, I'm not doing no fucking research, I'm not going back in time and trying to find this shit, is that they're going to go after Trump and then they're going to go after Biden. And for my money, and I this really caught my attention because of how much of a head scratcher this whole situation is, and I say that because like you look at the Democrat side of the House, and it is so fucked up that it's like, what were you fucking guys thinking? You got nobody on the bench. You got nobody you can put out there. All you got is fucking Gorilla Harris. Nobody likes her. Like, she wasn't ever voted into anything, right? Nobody fucking likes her. She dropped out of the fucking primaries in, 2019, 2020, because she couldn't get the 2 or 3% needed to stay in the fucking thing. Nobody likes her. You got fucking nobody. You got Butt Gig out here purchasing people. You can't just buy a person. Oh, I'll show you, right? So him and his man husband, have since purchased a person, right, to call their own little, future pleasure slave or whatever the hell that's going to turn out to be. So who do you have, man? You don't have anybody. You got, Gavin Newsom in California, but I mean, you don't got to look far to like, what state are people leaving more than any other? California, right? So who do you have? You don't have a bench. So what were you going to fucking do with this thing? Well, the head scratching can kind of stop if you look at it as like, oh, we're not going to fucking float anybody. We're just going to do like a martial law kind of a thing. And it's going to start because somebody on the right is going to smoke this guy. And why is he going to do that? Because we smoked their candidate. Except the guy fucking missed. And now I won't try to speculate. If it comes out that like this was another one of these deals where this guy is running like a Daniel's Defense, some extremely expensive rifle that it's hard to get your hands on and a real nice optic. He's shooting like a Night Force optic up here and Daniel's Defense, and he's got all kinds of gadgets hooked to this fucking thing, just it's dialed in real nice, and like he works at Wendy's part-time type shit, like that guy in Texas. Like, where the fuck did you get this thing? I don't know. He just, because of gun laws, it just miracles its way into his hands. Hard to say. If it's that, we'll go further down that road. But for my money, this was really more like we're just going to keep scaling back and providing increasingly incompetent Secret Service protection until somebody takes a shot at this fucking guy. And if you look at all this rhetoric, I mean, good Christ, dude. All I see is I keep seeing reposts of these tweets that's like, fucking Biden himself, like, my job is to put a bullseye on Trump. And, in truth, like, probably he didn't tweet that. He's not sitting there with his fucking phone, writing that shit out. But as far as regular Joe knows, like, this is from the office of the president. Like, I'm going to put a bullseye on my opposition. There's other political figures talking about, like, if you're going to get somebody to do that, you got to get somebody could aim. I can't remember who that was. Some woman of color, real fucking tasteful. An elected fucking official saying, hey, get someone who can aim next time. Fucking brilliant. Incredible work. I mean, are you really trying to sink this thing? So, for my money, I don't know that it's like an organized effort. Like, this guy is, I don't know. What can you say about this? I will say that, like, the first shot, that was a good shot. You did technically score a headshot from 150 yards from atop a fucking what's probably a pretty hot metal roof. Tin roof, hot as fuck. So, okay, great. That's not bad shooting. Is it world class? No, clearly not. Like, that's not a motherfucker, doing bow and arrow through a Cheerio or some kind of shit. I mean, technically passable, yes. You probably spent some time training. Okay, sure. But is this, the kind of motherfucker that's going to, rewrite history books? He's a trained specialist. No, this is not that. For my money, I think this was more like just set the stage. Like, they just set the stage and let it happen. Because if it didn't happen here, probably it's going to happen somewhere else. The Secret Service we've got on this guy is clearly a barrel of fucking nincompoops, right? These people can't find their own ass with two hands and a map. They're probably undermanned. I guess there was some issue where, Trump's team had requested additional security and was denied. I don't know, again, how truthful that is. I have seen that the woman heading, as you might expect, heading Secret Service in general is some fucking, diversity hire type thing where they push some completely unqualified woman into a position of power. And no doubt she'll come out in the next few days and say that she inherited a mess from Trump's fucking appointee, what the fuck ever. Long and short, it's an incompetent person running an incompetent organization, and the fires have been stoked with a lot of talk about, from the president himself. I'm going to put a bullseye on this guy. It's not a good look, friend, not a good look. But I think it does set the stage for a deep state, bunny ears, side lock, tiny hat state, to solve its own problems by knocking out this candidate, whose people will in turn knock out that candidate. But, as you can see, your fucking guy, step one went sideways, as it so often does with these fucking idiots. Like, you fucked it up right out of the gate. Kind of like trying to crash, 3 buildings with 2 planes. Just make the decision to pull it. Well, we just made the decision to pull it. I want to kind of go into this a little more, because the reason I think it would go that way is because if you're old enough to remember how shit went back around 9/11, I mean, dude, I even went for this, man. The hook was in the water and I bit right on. Is that you see, your country is being attacked, something that you value. Even if you have some sentiment for democracy, this is being attacked, man. And you see that it's by this guy, and you see that there's people clapping and cheering and making fucking fun like it's good in the hood. And that's going to piss people off. And if you remember back to 9/11, man, like, you see the buildings falling, you see all this fucked up shit. And before that, things were really not so bad. Things weren't so bad. That wasn't de rigueur. It wasn't so normal. And when you see this shit go on, like, the news story was like a rich Saudi guy who used to be a CIA informant orchestrated this from a cave and had some other Saudis do this. And you're like, yeah, I'm pissed. Let's fucking do something. Yeah, so we're gonna attack Afghanistan. Okay, yeah, let's go. And also we're gonna attack Iraq. Okay, let's go. Now, I mean, in retrospect, you hear that and you're like, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. That's pretty fucking stupid, really. Wait, explain? What are we doing and why? You would think that. At the time, man, when you're so fucking pissed and dude, I was right there. Like, just point and pull the string, man. I'll smoke whoever you want. But at the time, that's how you fucking felt. All right? So now if you back up and you look at this, if that guy had taken one in the head and he's up there in Pennsylvania and gets the red mist treatment, pow, and his head just fucking disintegrates, how fucking hot do you think these people are going to go? These people will be Hawaiian shirts and fucking big black rifles by morning, ready to rock and fucking roll. And pretty much any Democrat that's speaking out like, yeah, that's good shit, those people will get fucking, I would say those people would be prime targets. Any of these people with these tweets of like, their tweets end would be like, yeah, good job, good shot. I don't approve of what he did, but I approve of the result. Like, that shit would be like, you just made the list. And these people would come out, not because I'm saying to fucking do it. I'm not your Donald Trump fan. I'm just telling you what I believe 99.9% would fucking happen. But once again, you fucked it up right out of the gate, right? You can't trust these fucking Reddit fans. You can't trust these fucking Tumblrinas to do this shit without fucking it up. And so here we fucking are, And basically, I mean, the guy's got multiple felonies, he got multiple bitches, and now he just got shot. I mean, you just fucking walked away with the entire black vote. Congratulations. You just handed that shit to him. But, yeah, I think as far as the idea of, oh, it's fake, like, that's just pure insanity, dude. Like, you're not living in the real world to say that this shit was staged or fake. Like, yeah, just wing me in the shoulder a little, or just wing me in the ear, Get the fuck out of here. It's okay if we kill, 1 or 2 bystanders. That's going to be fine, man. We'll just get this guy up on the roof. It'll work out fine. It'll work out great. It always does. I cannot see that, dude. If you got a different take on that, I mean, do please float it. But I cannot see that for 1,000 years, and especially with Biden in the state that he's in, which kind of brings me to the next thing, that this guy with the dementia thing, dude, like, this is why I think they want this guy gone so bad, and that this was kind of an avenue to make that happen. I've seen even in mainstream outlets where they're talking about this dude, and they're going down the list, not just like, oh, he's so crazy, you hear the crazy things he says, like, not doing that kind of just weird, non-specific, abstract, hyperbole type shit. They're talking about specific signs and symptoms of Parkinson's. So I saw one on MSNBC. You might have heard this dude talking, but this guy's talking about, like, man, I could diagnose this guy from across the mall. And the guy's like, well, wait. You never sat with him. You don't know. And he's like, look. And he starts going down specific items, specific differentiating diagnoses of Parkinson's. So the things he's talking about very stiff movements. He's talking about a gait, like a very short gait. Gait is like how, a doctor will describe the way that you walk. So if you're like stride with pride, like you're headed to the pit, right? You got a large, confident, well-balanced gait, right? If you're a little bit fucked up, like you got some serious back pain, or you're super drunk or some shit, maybe you have an inconsistent gait, or you don't have arm swinging. This is what he was talking about. The guy doesn't swing his arms at all when he walks. He's just concentrating on one foot in front of the other. He's talking about the masked facial expressions, where he doesn't really have facial expressions that go with what he's talking about. So just like anybody, like somebody's, they're happy, they make a happy face. If they're pissed off, they're talking to you about, like, why are you throwing Romans, at my daughter's birthday party? They're going to have a little bit of a pissed off face, right? So there's not that consistency. There's not that congruency with his facial expressions and the things that he's saying. You do see him during, like, some of these speeches, and he's like kind of forcibly making these faces. Like, that's not really buying this. But he's talking about that. He's talking about difficulty with word retrieval. So you're trying to say this thing, and we saw this like with the NATO speech, where he's trying to introduce Zelensky, right? And he introduces him as President Putin. So, okay, and what, like, this ain't because drug use, and it's not because he's a child molester, all those other things, that's all a different conversation. This is just because he's fucking old and he's got dementia. Nothing a guy can do about it. I'll get old. I probably have it right now. I probably say 100 things that don't make any fucking sense. But when this guy's talking and he's trying to say Zelensky, and instead he says Putin, when he's trying to say Guerrilla Harris, and he accidentally says Vice President Trump, when he says that he entrusts a lot of his decisions to his commander-in-chief, like, dickhead, you are the commander-in-chief. All right, that's what they call a difficulty with word retrieval. So he's talking about word retrieval. He's talking about another feature, dysphonia. So this is difficulty speaking. And you notice this when he's talking, and he gets this kind of, and he goes, look. That's like his reset word. Look. He has trouble getting the fucking words out of his mouth when he does get the thought formed. And then he's trying to get the words out of his mouth, but he's having difficulty speaking, dysphonia. So this is another indicator of Parkinson's. And then the last one was just the nature of his voice, where he talks really low like this. And he's always doing this. But he tries to make it like he's coming off very seriously, like, look, folks. I want to be as serious as I can about this. You know what we have to do. This is another feature, all right? So you could look at it as, just a way of speaking to try to keep it fresh and keep the people engaged. But this guy is talking about, like, no, this is a classic feature of Parkinson's. So again, it doesn't look good, man. And even if the guy is sitting there and he's having trouble getting the words out, and that is what it is, but in his head, this guy's wired tight, and he knows what the fuck he's doing. He knows the decisions he's making. He's good to go, sharp as a fucking tack. Okay, terrific. But how do I fucking know that? All I can go on is what I'm fucking seeing. I see you walking around like you got thumbtacks in your fucking shoes. I see you, like, looking around like you got no fucking clue what room you're in. You don't know what fucking day it is. You're talking about who the fuck knows what. How do I know that you know what's going on? Because I really don't. I don't know who's making any of the decisions around here. No idea. So when they're talking now about donors want to pull money, they're like, no, this motherfucker's got to go. This is why. Maybe you do know what you're talking about, but I don't know that you do. And if I don't know, the people don't know, so I'm not going to fucking back you. And I guess factions have formed where it's, again, like the coloreds, it's Obama and Guerrilla Harris. And publicly, as per, Obama is backing the guy. He's a solid president. He was my vice president. I support him completely. But apparently behind closed doors, this is the guy that's like, yeah, we need to get this fucking guy out of here. And install woman of color. And I heard an interview with her the other day. This was great shit. And I don't know what talk show it was on, but again, being interviewed by another woman of color. And she's like, so what you been up to, girl? And she goes, girl, I've been working. I swear to Christ, she's talking like this. Girl, I've been working so hard. I've been out in these streets. The way that she fucking cackles. Oh, my good God, dude. Girl, I've been out in these streets. That's your tagline right there. That's your trailer right there. That's fucking shit hot. So she's got my vote. Goddamn. Leader of the free world out in these streets. Girl, I've been hustling so hard. Anyway, yeah, so that's where we're at, man. It's never a dull moment. You can't put a price on it. All right, so to wrap it up, man, somebody had posted in the chat here. This really caught my attention, dude. I love this shit. I love my chat. Amazing chat, the best chat. Nobody's got a chat like mine. Somebody had posted in there, hey, Coffee, what do you think about joining the French Foreign Legion? Like, is it a good idea to join the French Foreign Legion? Let me just get this out of the way now. Do not join the fucking French Foreign Legion. Okay? I had actually looked at this. Just because, the masculine urge to sign away your life and go away and fight for the fuck of it, right? For a few dollars more. Yeah, man, I thought it actually sounds cool, like it's a really cool idea. I looked into it, dude. It's not cool, and based on my own experience, I'll tell you exactly why it's not cool. But first, the details. So the idea of the French Foreign Legion, I don't have visibility on the history of like why is there a French Foreign Legion exactly, but I do know that like the French Foreign Legion, this is an organization that takes people from basically where fucking ever, and you do your soldiering at the behest of the French government, and whoever they are, doing your soldiering on behalf of, like whatever the fuck they want, whatever they need, you're going to go do it, and that's the deal. I do know that it is different. It is not the French military. It's, a French military organization, but this is very different than the French army or the French, navy or what the fuck ever. This is not that. This is the Foreign Legion, La Légion étrangère. It is not, whatever the fuck it is. A completely different set of rules, completely different culture, and so it is not the same fucking thing. So I looked up, because I looked up before, but I wanted to refresh on exactly what's what with this thing. So the Foreign Legion, you can sign up at 17 and a half years old if your folks sign off on it. You can just sign up at 18 if you want. You have to be between 18 and 39 years old. So some of you might, you might not be able to get in there, dude. It is what it is. But I looked at their website, dude, and it's like your qualifications doesn't matter. Your ability to speak French doesn't matter. Your prior military service doesn't matter. Nothing fucking matters. Yeah, all these things, it's like very, egalitarian, the way that they put it in there. Like, you could be anybody, man. Your race doesn't matter. Your religion doesn't matter. Your ethnicity, your citizenship doesn't matter. None of these things matter. They're not important. The only thing important is la Légion. So they're like, yeah, come on down, man. And the way that you sign up for this thing, and again, it's cool sounding, all right? The way that you sign up for this thing, oh, and this is the other thing, is you can't be wanted by Interpol, all right? So you can't be on the run. You can be on the run from the law, but they can't know it's you, basically, long and short. So if Interpol wants you, they're not going to fucking take you. So you show up, and you have to physically go to one of their locations in Paris or somewhere else. So you have to pay your own way, figure out how to get here. You pay your own way and you show up and you knock on the gate and you tell them you want to join. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, there will be some unlucky bastard there on watch, and he'll let you in and you can start the process. So you, I don't know, you show up, you do all their physicals, all this shit, background check. I guess you got to have like an ID. So there's got to be some way to actually know who you are so that they can figure out if you're wanted by Interpol or whatever. But you show up, give them all this shit, and I'd actually watched a couple short videos on this a while back just because I thought it's cool sounding, isn't it? Like in a more reasonable world, this might be a cool thing for a guy, depending. But I guess the deal is that you hang out a little while, they check you out, they do some tests to see if you're, a fucking nutcase. They do background check on you, see if you're wanted by Interpol. You do like a personality test, a physical fitness test, and you just kind of mill around a while. And one of the videos I saw was like, bring fucking food with you, man, because you're just kind of on your own. Like, you're not their problem until, you are actually signed up for this thing. So bring something to eat. But so you hang out a little while, and then as you make it through the stages of this thing, and it's the same thing with enlistment in the States. I mean, you don't just like go and sign up and the next day you leave for boot camp. There's a whole long dick dance to this thing. So it takes a little while. But I'm looking at this thing and looking at their website. It's like, you can't be wanted by Interpol. You can't this, you can't that. Oh, and you can have tattoos, but like, see the restrictions. So I'm like, I know what this is going to say. So I go and click on this shit. Tattoos. Item number 1, no Nazi or racist tattoos. I'm like, for fuck's sake, dude. Like, you could be, you could legit be like some fucking murderer. You could be a former drug addict. You could be any fucking thing. You can be a war criminal. Just don't show up here with no racist tattoos. Like, good God almighty, dude. Have some fucking self-respect. But, so you show up, you sign up for this shit. And then, according to like this one video that I had seen, then depending on kind of where you fall out, they'll offer you different positions, or you'll get assigned to different positions. You can express your interest in this, that, or the other fucking thing. But long and short, a couple things, man, on La Légion is, one, this pays shit. Like, I looked at this, and this pays fuck all. I guess I want to say it's after your first enlistment, which is a 5-year commitment. My understanding is that after that, you can be offered French citizenship, which, hooray, fuck, dude, just show up and say you're from Africa. Say you're from the Sudan and you're on the run for your life and I must have the citizenship. And I'm sure they'll straighten you out. But I guess at the end of this thing, you get the French citizenship and you get a French name. And what the fuck do I want with a French name? I do not want. But yeah, you get your French name and you get French citizenship, and then they give you le capé blanc, and you wear your little white hat, and I guess that's a whole thing. And I guess really it's a very Spartan lifestyle. And I know that a lot of us, in our thing, there's a romance attached to that like, you say Spartan lifestyle, you're talking about this warrior lifestyle. You're talking about operating off of just necessities, not a lot of frivolous bullshit. There's a lot to be said for that, man. But I will also tell you that, like, the more I saw and the more I read about these dudes, like, one, you're not getting paid a lot, dude. So you are out here, you're out here doing something that you're willing to do and capable of doing. And this is like ugly military work. It is something that not many people are capable of doing. Like living in kind of austere environment, sucking it up, doing some dastardly deeds. That is honestly some shit that not a lot of people can physically do. Like their mind, their personality, a lot of times their body just will not permit it. You don't have the wiring for this. You don't have the hardware or the software. It ain't happening. So this is something that you are out here capable of doing. Second is that it's something you're willing to do. You're willing to go and do these things. All right, now these are, when you're young, you don't always realize it, but you're going and you're willing to do these things. You're not just doing this thing. There's a thing that you are doing means there's a thing that you're not doing, because these are years of your life. So there's 5 years that you're out here doing some shit that other people cannot do, are not willing to do. And for that, your compensation is fuck all. Now you got to consider that when you're considering that, like, look, I'm giving up 5 years of my life. That's 5 years of building a career. Maybe that's 5 years of building a family, 5 years of just enjoying myself, 5 years of laying in the fucking sun. You're going to do some shit that other people can't or won't do. And for that, you got to consider what you're getting paid. So in that sense, if the compensation you require is not money, if the compensation you require is anonymity, is an escape, is getting the fuck out of Dodge, is just starting over because you fucked up once too often, then if that compensation is worth it to you, then you go and you do this thing. All right, but again, I mean, and I said this from the time I was, a young guy in the military. When somebody would ask me about, hey, what do you think about doing this? My answer is going to be the same. Like, you got to know and understand what you're going to be asked, and you got to know and understand what you're going to get in return, because somebody is getting butt fucked on this deal. All right, somebody is going to get taken advantage of. 99% of the time, it's that young man that is enjoying this very romantic concept of, I'm going to go and be a fighter, and I'm going to live on just the bare necessities, and I'm going to, do something for my country. You are getting fucked, all right? If you're going out here, though, and you're saying, yeah, I got to do this, I got to suck it up, I got to be miserable, but I'm going to get whatever, college, a fresh start, a new name, a new citizenship, whatever the fuck it is, out of my house where my dad beats the shit out of me, whatever it is. If that's what you're getting, then cool. Plus a paycheck, even better. But understand what you're getting. But so these dudes, this video I see with these guys are getting trained on jungle warfare. And I'll tell you, it sucks because nobody ever trains to fight where it's nice outside. Like, nobody trains to fight in, like, the Bahamas or, like, Hawaii. We're going to be, kicking ass over here. Nobody's doing that shit. But people want to fight where it sucks. They want to fight in the desert. They want to fight in the jungle. And these dudes are getting qualled. Like, they already had a jungle warfare qual, so they want to go back and be instructors. And these dudes are hating fucking life. And it's a lot of fucked up tests. Doesn't look like a lot of very good instruction. Because, I mean, understand, like, you can teach a person to do a whole lot of things if you're giving them good instruction. But, I mean, you're getting people that are already kind of the dregs. Like, these are people with nowhere else to go. These are people that are willing to trade years of their life for just bunny ears, a fresh start. So you're probably not getting top shelf instruction. But you're out here in the jungle and they're like, just do this, just do this. And, some guys can do it, some guys can't. Some guys end up all fucked up and they got trench foot and they're in the hospital again, encore. And, they're going to fail again and you're not going to get this fucking qual. And they're all bummed out, but, whatever. But it does not look like a real sweet deal to me, man. And it's interesting because the one that I saw, like, it's in French, so you got to contend with the subtitles. But these dudes are talking about, like, there's some regular French military guys there, like normal French military, and they're getting, like, they're just going through this block with these Foreign Legion guys, and there's little differences where, like, these regular military guys are like, some guys are like, yeah, this fucking sucks, dude, this is shit. And then the Foreign Legion guys are like, this ain't so fucking bad, man. Like, I'm living pretty good out here. Like, usually in the Legion, we get treated like absolute shit. Like, you don't get anything. You got to go find your own food. These guys are like, yeah, I'm getting handed things. This is terrific. So, in that sense, dude, I will tell you that, like, roughing it for a little while, roughing it for a week or two, a month or two, maybe a year, you'll come away a changed man off of that shit. When you're going to go out here and rough it for, like, years, like, that's some shit that's going to stick with you better or worse, all right? And often is not worse, because you're not the one making this choice. You're not David Goggins out here making the decision to, like, I'm going to go run however many miles. Yeah, that's terrific, dude, and that's hard and shit, and that's going to require some training, but it's also your decision. You're deciding, not some other motherfucker. And that, I think, is where the difference is, that, like, you get to decide. All right, this shit with, like, La Légion, you don't get to fucking decide, dude. You sign the fucking line, and now there's you, like, yeah, I am incredibly miserable, and there is not shit that I can do about it. So you're just going to have to gut it out, friend. That sucks. I can tell you firsthand, that fucking sucks. Even in a position where it's like, you can actually quit anytime you want. Well, yeah, I could, but now I got no fucking money. I got this lifestyle to maintain. I got these bills to pay. I can't really quit, can I? That's when things start to suck pretty fucking bad. So, if you want to think of it that way, dude, I will say that if you want to get hard, go get hard, dude. The good thing about the internet is that you can look on YouTube, you can find 1,001 hard things to go and fucking do. You can become a changed man. Sometimes the fire that forges you is one you're just going to have to start yourself, and that's well and good. But it's a whole hell of a lot better. It's not as easy, but a whole hell of a lot better than going out here and just taking a beating at the hands of some fucking, who knows what, some Brazilian, some Russian, some Colombian, who the fuck knows from where the fuck ever in La Légion. I'm not really interested in that shit. So again, if it was me, it would be a last resort. Absolutely had to. Okay, I got nothing else going. I am hard up against it. La Légion it is. So, that's my take on it. Otherwise, do not do it. Do something else, man. Get that corner office. Get that hot secretary. Get that family. Expand the empire. Make yourself a hard man in your spare time. So that's my take. But as for the rest of it, man, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. If you dig this shit, you can find me. I'm still on the gram at, I believe it's nice.guy.coffee. It's Nice Guy Coffee. Nice guy, man. Don't ban me. I'm a nice guy. I don't think they give a shit. I already got fucking strikes. But I'm there. I'm at on the Twitter. I think it's Coffee Long 14, and on the Telegram at the Abuse Hour, or at the associated chat, the Abuse Hour chat that you can find through the podcast post. But until next time, man, leave this shit where someone can find it, because the world needs more people like us. And until then, keep your eyes on the horizon, keep your neck out of the noose. I am Coffee. These are my takes.